History Museum in Fort Myers, Florida. And we are honored to be sitting here today to handle the first panel for a look at the Black business experience. My name is Phyllis Calloway, and I will be moderating this afternoon with these three distinguished gentlemen from our community who has spent a lot of time building a foundation and growing themselves in the community. To my right, we're going to start there. Ty, take it away, and we'll just keep going down the line.
Okay, I'll keep it short. My name's Ty Belford. I'm the owner of Four Corners Creative. We're a local advertising company based here in Fort Myers.
And I'm Joe North with the North Law Firm, and we've got our main office here in Fort Myers where I was born and raised, so we handle all types of accident and injury cases.
I'm Lee Ford. I have 4 or 5 businesses, but we'll keep it sweet and short. The main one is my Lee Ford Concessions LLC at our regional airport.
All right, well, thank you gentlemen so much. We're going to jump right in because I think with the topic that we have today, we have a lot of information that we can share with our community as well with the audience, just to let them know how important it is to have a business of your own and to monopolize the opportunities to bring more businesses to the areas. Well, I wanted to just kind of distinguish obstacles and challenges, and I will ask each of you to give me your comment on that. Because what I found in the 60s, yes, we had a lot of obstacles during the civil rights movement. But after the 21st century, 20th century, we kind of moved into challenges. Ty, tell me about some of the challenges that you've observed, especially not being from the Fort Myers area.
My process, and I have lots of processes, what I try to do is connect threats to opportunities. So whenever I see a challenge, or what could be perceived as a challenge, maybe for a moment I'll get shooken, but within moments, I'll transition my thinking, my mentality to looking at that challenge or threat as an opportunity. And I kind of withdraw myself from it, and it just changes the dynamic. And when I exercise that, sometimes I forget about it and I'll get overwhelmed with something, but then I'll step out and I'll look at it again, and it kind of dissipates and becomes an opportunity all of a sudden.
Attorney North, Joe North.
Yes.
Senator Dunbar. Sorry about that, that's a soldier line. Tell us about some of the challenges, because you're a native. You went away, came back, and you have grown a successful law firm for 30 plus years and counting.
Yes.
Tell us about some of the challenges that you faced leaving and returning home to work with the people that knew you.
Okay, how much time we got?
You go.
So when I think about, obstacles and overcoming them, I think back to when I was in law school, and one of the things that I did to motivate myself to overcome any obstacle that may be in my way. And that is, I put a note on my refrigerator. And all the note said was mom and dad, because I know what my parents went through in the 60s to get me the opportunities that I have. And what that note did for me is to just always let me know that I have to keep moving forward no matter what comes my way. Because whatever comes my way is going to pale in comparison to what my parents went through. So I just strive every day to take advantage of everything that comes my way in terms of business opportunities. And I encourage all young people out there today, starting a business or working for someone else, just take advantage of every single opportunity that you have. Because if you go back 40 years, 50 years, your parents didn't have those opportunities.
First of all, I set my own foundation by clarifying to everyone that I'm a fully faith person. I don't run into what you might call obstacles. I don't define them as obstacles. I define them as a door that's not open because God don't want it open. I find it as a task that, nope, this is not where God wants me to go. I look for another way to do what I try to do. My thing is mainly to have, I use this a lot in my debates and discussions with people when they're trying to do anything. And I said, you need a portrait painted of what this should look like when you're done. Where you want to be when this is over?
This past Easter, I had the opportunity to meet a young lady. She was 7 years old. And she was dressed up as a judge because during the Easter parade, we put the children on the floats. So this question is for Attorney North. She says, I really would love, your bus passed by, I would really love to meet Attorney North. Just so happened, this is how God works, Attorney North and his dad was driving down the street to go get in line. And I told the little girl, I said, today is your day. You're going to meet Attorney North. I'm not sure if you remember that.
I do remember that. I don't remember her name, but I do remember that.
Yes, she ran up to Attorney North and just hugged him. And it actually made her day. When she left him and we went back under the tree, she cried.
Oh, wow.
The impact that distinguished gentlemen and women in the community that have on these children. Can you please tell me what has helped you get to where you are with the influential, effective, you're in the forefront, and what advice would you have for others who want to set off in a similar direction?
Well, first I do remember that young lady, and I have nothing but high expectations for her. She's remarkable. And when I think about her, and I think about other kids in our community and just our community in general, it just reminds me of what I'm doing this for. Okay, I often say that I would not be able to do what I'm doing. I would not have had the success that I've had, but for the support of our community, Lee County at large, Fort Myers at large, but Dunbar in particular. Okay, so a large part of my client base handling these accident and injury cases is Dunbar. And that's why I, without hesitation, along with my wife, Benita, we are always doing everything we can, whether it's showing up someplace or providing financial assistance or just guidance. We're doing all that we can because we know that we are part of that circle that I talk about, where we're supporting everyone in the circle, everyone in the circle supporting us.
Mr. Ford, what are the most critical changes that we must make to face the future effectively?
As far as business is concerned, the first thing we need to realize, something he said, but he put it in there exactly right, but it wasn't in the text that I'm referring it into. The community supports itself in the cycle. Everybody does their part. And it ends up supporting each other in the same time by just doing those things together, connectivity. But in business, you purposely have to do that. And the other part that I love about your story with him, that is missing drastically in our communities. When I was a kid, and I know that's a long time, don't say nothing, Ty. When I was a kid, everybody lived together. The lawyer, the teacher, the doctor, the dentist, the whoever profession the black people were in their community, we all lived in the neighborhoods together. Kids grew up seeing these people. They was inspired. Children are inspired by what they see, not what we tell them.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
If they don't see people like Joe around, or me, or Ty, to identify us, then they'll be inspired by us. We have to take the time to come back to, that's why I live in that little house I've been in since 1990. It ain't because I couldn't go anywhere else, I can't. That's not the problem. The thing is, I want to stay where I am. People know where I live, and trust me, they know. Come knock on the door. But the point is, though, we need to do that. We need to get our people back to coming in our community, because the minute they get that, my wife said 10 cents over our rent money,
Yeah.
we leave the community.
Uh-huh.
We don't realize what we're doing to the community. Our children need to see you.
Yes.
They need to see you drive up in your nice car and your kids get out dressed nice. Because they're watching that.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what inspires them to want to be and to do that. If it's absent, who's going to inspire what they see? Drug dealing. Everybody wants to be an influencer now.
Mm-hmm.
So they're getting on the phones and the internet trying to prove that they got more likes than everybody else instead of going to school to be a lawyer, be a businessman, be a marketing expert, a person who promotes business and help business and people, because they don't see it. I went to the mall to a little pretzel place. Everybody knew I love it. to a pretzel place, got me a pretzel, sat down and ate with mustard. 2 black girls working in the counter. I didn't know who they were, but they were working. I'm sitting there eating. I ate up all my little mustard, so I went back to get another one.
You got another one.
The little girl says, what do you do? She said, I want to do what you do. And the little black, they said, me too. I said, well, honey, you doing exactly what I do for a living. They're working in the pretzel place. That's what I have, concessions. I said, you learn, you let these people know you want to know everything there is about running this business. And I said, one day you're going to look up and you just could be me.
All right.
You know,
That was a great
but see,
That's awesome.
they have to see it.
Yes.
All of our educated people, the first thing they do is go. The business people go. Professionals go. And they leave whatever's here to fend on for themselves.
Let's talk about doing business in Southwest Florida. That was just a little opportunity for you to hear from these 3 distinguished gentlemen a little bit about their lives, what they've been doing, and how they got to where they are. Now, we're going to talk about doing business in Southwest Florida, how you got started, when you got started, and the reason you got started. So Ty, I'll start with you. What are some of the areas of opportunities that African American leaders need to focus on to ensure minority businesses are notified of opportunities? And I chose you specifically for that question because I know you've been dealing with Southwest Florida Impact Partners.
Almost every business can exist in the digital realm. You kind of got to think outside of the box as far as where the opportunities are, because of the internet, everyone can kind of tap into this global economy. And so it's great, to get that feeling of serving your community and selling to a friend but the reality is that we've all lived for a long time right here, and then even before that, people haven't historically patronized their own community, right? Until you make a name for yourself outside of the community, then they come running. So I think what you could do is try to find a way to kind of tailor your business or one aspect of your business to be able to sell online. I can help you with that. and then I think you will find yourself building a better brand, building more confidence, having more equity to put back into your business and grow it further.
Mr. North, what effect has technology made in your practice, and are you able to broaden your client base because of technology?
Well, technology in today's business world is everything. And I'll have to say that I actually start with Mr. Ty Belford with Four Corners Creative, because when I met Ty, my website looked like it had been done by someone in kindergarten. But I was the one who had done it. And then I realized you have to let the professional do it. And Ty took my website from being down here to the moon. And that has helped my business tremendously. And on top of that, I think that, because the younger generation who's training us older generation, everything is online now. So when we are interacting with our clients, with the courts, with opposing counsels, everything is today through an electronic medium. And it's made us more efficient. We don't have to actually go to events, which means we can do more events.
So, Mr. Ford, I'm going to ask you about this one. How do we ensure business owners get the opportunities that's out there without having to just knock down some doors?
Oh, that's a good question, huh? Well, the main thing first thing that comes to my mind in my practice is network. The first thing to get out of your mind is you got to do it all yourself. Well, that's the worst thing that every man, woman walking, trying to do business, that's the first thing to kill it. Is realizing or thinking you got to do everything yourself. And you got to know everything yourself. You network. I know what I do. I know what Joe do. Cause I don't call both of them at times. And guess who I ask the question to when I want to know something about it? I don't come up because I'm B Ford and I got all the answers.
Right.
I network, I know people that do what they do, and I want to tap into what they do to help my people. like all my clients, like Ty, every one of them is gonna have lawyers, bankers, insurance agents, accountants, CPAs, marketing people, which Ty's been a part of that panel. We're gonna have them all at the Enterprise Center. These are people that's in those businesses right now that's gonna be talking to those people to develop what? Relationships with, to help them grow their business. You cannot do it alone. And that's what it takes, but a lot of folks don't know that. They think they gotta go out there and do everything on their own and make it happen, and it doesn't. Even technology, not just that basic business knowledge and sense. A lot of people don't know.
And so, and we have this thing, we'll say, time is money, right? But we never reverse that and say money is time.
That's right.
Right? And so sometimes you got to trade, because the beginning you said maybe you don't have the money to do your thing, but you can exercise some effort on educating yourself, which you can do a lot for free now, right? And trade that money for time. Spend the time to learn, spend the time to get educated. And it's equivalent to money. You said it. You said time is money. Well, money is time too. Entrepreneurship is everything, you know, and I even if you have a day job, you should have either a side hustle or something you're passionate about that you can find a way to create equity, because there's no equity in your job.
It would be unfair to the community if we didn't discuss some of the obstacles that are still in our community that are challenges to deal with. And unfortunately, there are some people with mindsets that if we are successful, that we don't feel that we're going to come back and reach back. And that the perception is they don't care about us, or they don't want to help us. How do you all think we can start educating those with that mindset? Because it's not everybody, but there are those that look for a free ride.
Something that I heard a wise person say one time, and that is, drop your bucket where there's water. What do I mean by that? At one point, yes, you want to cater your business to the masses. We all want that, and that is good. But you have to recognize from the beginning who is really going to patronize and support your business. For me, it has been the Dunbar community. I wrapped my arms around the Dunbar community, and the Dunbar community wrapped its arms around me. And that is what allowed me to be successful, and then to go out there and represent a much broader spectrum of people outside of Dunbar, and now we represent people all over the state, okay? But to that person who maybe needs a little bit of a nudge, because you've taught them what to do, but they just won't go out there and do, I say, just come and follow me around. You know, I don't mind that at all. If you want to watch me try a case, or watch me do a deposition, or just sit down and talk to me about some things, because that's how you're going to learn to do it. You got to take those steps. You can't sit down, take those steps, because that's how I learn. I learn by doing.
It changes the mindset when you actually show them that you care enough to invite them into your space.
Yes.
Because so many have that perception, again, that you're not approachable until they break down that barrier. Mr. Ford, would you like to comment on that topic?
Well, I know this probably won't shock most of you, but I don't deal with people who don't want to do nothing. That lady tell you, out of the 160 clients we have files on, the first thing we do is we talk about what they do.
Yes.
I gotta find a passion there,
Yes.
or a smidget of one, about what you're doing. I gotta know that anybody, because you ain't finna waste my time. You talked about one of you guys just said something about how time is valuable. It is. It's more valuable than money. Cause you only got that one thing. You can spend $1 100 times if you got 100 of them. That 1 minute, you got one. Once you spend it, it's gone.
You don't get it back.
When I use with my clients, if you sit there and your buddy call you talking about last night basketball game and you on your work time,
Yeah.
I said, you count the minutes. How much your hour worth to you? I have them tell me a value. I said, that's how much you just throw it out the window talking about last night baseball game during your work hours. And you'll never get it back. So when your buddy ain't doing nothing, call you to have you doing nothing, you think about what it's costing you to have this conversation.
Yes.
But that's not what I wanted to talk about. Anybody that's going to do anything for a business, cause it is no easy road.
No, it's not.
Joe's doing good today, but even when you're doing good, that thing go like this on you. Trust me, I know from life experience.
What questions would you like to hear specifically from the Black community as it relates to doing business in Southwest Florida? If we could do a frequently asked questions and put it on the website, what do you think some of the questions would be coming from the Black community?
You ask me, or you ask I ain't want to take over the show now.
Okay,
but,
I'll start with you and we're going to work our way this way.
Okay, what's next?
Okay,
That's it.
that's it.
No matter what level you is, what's next? Because a lot of people don't know that question. They don't know the answer to that question. They go around in circles trying to figure out, what do I do next? Okay, I want to open a business. How do I do that? Okay, I got my license. I got my space. What do I do next? I've been in business a year and nothing's happening. What's going on? I'm not getting anywhere. What next?
What's next?
Whatever level you at, the question is, what's next? Don't come with an answer because you know you don't know it and you're wrong. You're going to hurt yourself. Come with the question and leave it open.
Right.
What's next?
Okay.
And for me, for the frequently asked questions, I would add, can I see the beginning of the movie? Because so many times, someone will look at a Lee Ford or Joe North or Tyrone Belford or Phyllis Calloway and say, man, that's a great movie.
There you go.
But that's the end of the movie. You got to go all the way back and see the beginning of the movie and see the passion that we had, the hard work that we put in, day by day by day. But when you do that, you progress through that movie and then you get to the good part of the movie. So I would add to that list, what's the beginning of the movie?
I like it. That's awesome.
Well, I gotta follow that up.
That's good. That's
So
good.
I guess what I was asking myself when I was a disgruntled employee was what am I doing wrong? What am I doing wrong? And I'm gonna answer the question. So there's a difference between like this employee mentality and entrepreneurial mentality, right? And then my wife and I, we live this brand of legacy mentality, right?
Yes.
And so the opposite of legacy mentality and where we used to live was in this entitlement mentality. So what I was doing wrong was I was just thinking the wrong way, right? So if you're like working to pay your rent, working to pay your car note, you're probably gonna get that because that's what you're thinking about getting. But if you're working to buy a rental property or working to be able to be charitable, you know, it's all about like your thoughts, you know what I mean? And so what I was doing wrong was I was thinking the wrong way. And the other thing I was doing wrong too. So I was not cross-pollinating, right? So like this, we all help each other, right? So that if there's like a gem in this situation, is that these three right here, we collaborate, we inspire each other, we leverage each other, we refer each other, you know, and if we all did this, it would be ridiculous. And we're not a gang, right? So don't like, because that we have that fear. I'm gonna go deep real quick. So like we walk down the street. When I first came to Fort Myers, I lived in a lot of cities. I was a Marine, so I moved around. And the truth, I'm guilty of this. I would see another brother in my neighborhood where I used to live, not where I live now, but where I used to live. I would see another black man walk by me, and I wouldn't greet him. And judge me if you want to, but we all have done it.
We all have.
We all have done it. And if they get anything, they get this.
That's a Michigan thing.
Yeah.
That's a man thing, right? All over.
But I don't know how the ladies do it, but you know, we have to communicate. No one knows what each other knows, and none of us know who, right? And so we have to cross-pollinate. I got that from T-Rock when I was a barber, because there's a scripture in the Bible. I won't to get all churchy, but I don't know the scripture by heart. But I know that Jesus was going to Jericho, and there was a fig tree over here, and the fig tree was by itself, and it had flowers, and Jesus was hungry, and he was like, I'm gonna go over and give me some food, because the evidence of the fruit, the figs, is the flowers. Got there, fig tree didn't have no fruit, and he cursed the tree. Well, the tree was out of season, it was standing alone. Fig trees must cross-pollinate. They have to have another tree next to it, at least one other, right? So have accountability partners.
Yes.
It will make a
Iron
difference.
sharpens iron.
All right.
Iron sharpens iron.
Yes,
Or
yes,
have a cat you like to copy.
All right, I love it. I love it.
Can I say this on top of that? A lot of times people ask me a good question, but I ask them the question, why do you want to go into business?
You just had.
I know,
I'm
but-
supposed to be asking you that.
Oh,
I'm just kidding. No, go ahead and answer because that was going to be.
I say, why do you want to go in business? And they say, well, you know, I want my own business. I want to make money. I want to do this. I want to do that. I go, you do business for that? I listen, and then I tell them, I said, well, I want you to know, so you're going to be a very disappointed person. I'm telling you, because most people really is. They going like what made me think of what he just said. You're going to work to pay your rent, pay your car note, do this kind of thing. And people are doing that. They're going to buy a house. They want to buy this big house. They want to do this. I said, let me tell you the best way to mythologize that is just simply say, I work for freedom. Freedom. Freedom to buy the house I want if I want. Freedom to go on that trip if I want it. Freedom to buy those shoes if I want. Red bottom, purple bottom, blue bottom, whatever.
Well, you get me in trouble now.
People need to categorize things in a perspective where they understand and it's reachable. You don't need you may not need $1 million. Your whole life you could be the happiest man walking on a $500,000 business or something. I don't know, whatever that number is. But then there's some people, you know, for them to be free, they gotta have it.
That's right.
But they're gonna work for it because they're working for that freedom, not the money.
That's right.
And that's what it is. And basically, really, that's all it truly is if you look at it. You just want the freedom to do what you want when you want it.
That's right.
And that's it.
That's right.
Thank you.
Well, we would like to thank these three distinguished gentlemen, and I hope you all don't mind me calling you that because I admire each and every one of you. We support you, and because we know you give back to the community. It's there. We see the bus. We see you in all them different vehicles. We see you because the world needs more of this. And I just like to leave just a couple of nuggets for the audience to know that any three of these gentlemen, along with some of the others coming along on the panel, you will be able to reach out to them to get the information that's needed. We're about the work. We're not about the talk. We want to make sure that the actions are seen. The words are great, but when you see the action, it makes a whole lot of difference. You can contact Phyllis Calloway at the Southwest Florida Enterprise Center. If we don't know the answer, we won't say we do. We'll go and find. Because we have enough resources throughout the community and throughout the state of Florida where we can get any information you need. One piece of practical advice: get a mentor. Find someone that you can really trust. But most of all, make sure you're trusting yourself. Because if you can't trust yourself, you can't trust anyone else. Thank you so much and have a great evening.